Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Rustbelt Collector here with another World of Halo. Oh, I misspoke there. This isn't World of Halo. Another Spartan collection, 6.5-inch Spartan. This time we're taking a look at Emile from Halo Reach. Oh, isn't he glorious? This is one of my favorite characters. Growing up, when I got Halo Reach for what I think was my 12th birthday, I want to say it was around there. I got Halo Reach and I loved it. I fell in love with that game. Halo 3 probably still is my favorite, but Halo Reach holds a very, very special place in my heart. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited to see this figure given some much needed love. I know that there are other figure lines that have made him in the past. I think Kai Art Studios, or if I think I said that right. They made a figure. I know that there was a statue of him made for the Legendary Edition, and I know that McFarlane made a figure of him. However, this is probably the most toy-like figure of him, so for kids and maybe collectors that want something that they can be a little bit rougher with, I think this is the way to go versus something more delicate like the McFarlane figures. But anyways, let's talk about it. The box is, as we've come to expect, the standard Spartan collection box. Up here it's got his name, Emile A239, and with accessories, you know, the drill, his hands and his body and all that in the picture window. Series 2 does not include any kind of promotional codes or anything like Series 1 did. I think Series 1 was slated to be released with the release of Halo Infinite, and that got pushed back, so that's why we don't see those codes anymore. But you can still find them on the shelves. You know, you can still find Series 1 with the codes and everything. Here on the back is where we see the photo of Emile, and then we have the reissue of Master Chief, basically. The Spartan Mark 5B, which I've already uploaded to this channel, so if you want to see a review of that. And then the last two that I need to track down, Jerome and the Spartan Gungnir. I'll find those eventually, hopefully. If they stock Series 2 the way that they stocked Series 1, I will definitely find these guys eventually. But yeah, there we go. The box is cool. It looks nice. I think that it's perfect for people that like to keep things on the card or on the box, whatever you want to say. But that's not how we roll around here. So we took it out of the box. First up, we gotta talk accessories, and we have his classic shotgun here. It does have a very nice sculpt. It is, however, molded in that bendy plastic, which is good if you are afraid of it breaking. It is bad if you know, you leave it in a hot room for too long and it warps like that, and then you have a shotgun that can point around corners, you know? But overall, really nice sculpt. I mean, for the bendy plastic, you'd think some of the details would be a little bit maybe softer, but honestly, they're really crisp, they're really sharp. It looks amazing. It does have this little, I should have taken that out, but this is just the peg that comes in his armor so that you can do that. And that's always nice. You know, you can have it on his back. It does seem to want to come out with the shotgun, but you can take it off and then just pop it back in there. It's also like his legs there, like the pegs on his legs, his peg legs, if you will. You can turn it around, and that way it's a little bit more concealed, which is nice, although it's a little bit trickier to get out that way. I might just leave it in there actually for right now. But like I said, yeah, the legs do have the reversible peg system that we've seen with all of the previous releases. He doesn't have anything that he can put on there initially, but if you want to give him like the Magnum from the cat figure or something like that, then you can do that with no problem. And then one of the things that I absolutely love is he does have his knife, and it is removable. However, it's also in that like rubbery plastic, and it's a little tough. You can kind of see it's a little tough to get. Oh, there we go. It's a little tough to get out because the shoulder piece here is made out of bendy plastic, and this is made out of slightly more rigid plastic, but it's still bendy. So to actually like get it to go in and then like come out smoothly, it doesn't. I guess that's a little bit better. Maybe it was just stuck on that first try, but it's maybe not the way that I would have done it. I don't mind the softer plastics, but in this particular instance, it doesn't work as well as I would like, and it kind of, I don't know, it worries me. The softer plastic does worry me just a little bit, that like something will happen. Maybe I'll leave these guys in a drawer or in my backpack when I'm out doing toy photos, and they'll get bent, and it'll be a pain in the butt to try and straighten everything out. But those are his accessories. I do like them. I do like the removable knife especially. This shotgun could be bigger, and I've seen some comparisons from some of my friends over on Instagram where the shotgun that comes with the Legendary Edition statue, the one that came with the Halo Reach Legendary Edition, that shotgun scales much better with this figure. I think this is just a little bit small, and even when he holds it, you can see it just seems a little bit undersized. Not bad, but it does seem a little bit undersized. And while we're on the subject of this shotgun and him holding it, let's talk about what really is one of a few gripes that I have with this figure, unfortunately, because I really want to love it. I want to love it with no complaints, no issues whatsoever. But unfortunately, there are a couple. And the big one is this right here. He doesn't have an independent trigger finger. So this finger here, which should go into the trigger area there, instead is molded to the rest of his hand. So you can do that, I guess, from the side, which isn't correct. Or if you want him to actually shoulder it, you have to have it below the trigger guard like that. And I guess I get it. They've just reused the hand from the other Spartans. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work very well for me. And you probably could go in there with like an X-Acto knife or something and slice that finger free. I know I've done that with other figures that are sculpted like this, but it kind of sucks to have to do that on your own. And the other thing here, and this isn't really a gripe unique to this figure, but for all of the Spartan collection, I've been saying that they need an up and down wrist, and you can actually see how loose this wrist is because I've been trying to flex it into a position where he can shoulder the shotgun. Unfortunately, it's an in and out wrist, and well, let me show it this way. It's an in and out wrist instead of an up and down wrist, and I've actually flexed that joint just a little bit because I'm trying to position this correctly, and it just won't go in. So I think that if they had an up and down wrist on this particular figure, he could hold the shotgun a lot better. It would also force them to maybe remold this hand so then they could go in and make one with that trigger finger extending out so that it could go into the proper position on the firearm. But unfortunately, that is a flaw, and I didn't want to start out this entire review with just like a long list of the reasons why I don't like this figure, but that's kind of what happened here. So let's talk about some things that I absolutely love with this figure. First off, on things that I do love, this helmet is absolutely beautiful. They painted it very nicely with the silver and the more gold bronze color. And then it looks like they've applied a wash over top of that to really bring out all the details. And it just looks so perfect. It's super menacing. They've captured all the great details, and I love it. Also, I love that they've allowed this knife to be removable. Even though I do have some gripes with the actual execution of it, I love the concept of being able to have accessories held on the figure and then also be removable. So again, it's not perfect in form, but I like where they're going with it. But I think despite that, they clearly have the desire to do this with figures. So maybe this one's not the perfect execution, but they will like hammer out the details at some later time on some future figure. And I'm looking forward to that. And a perfect example of that in practice is just look at how he has no loose limbs. He's perfect. So the issues that I had with Wave 1 with the loose limbs, they've now perfected or at least re-engineered for Wave 2, and so I think issues like this knife will be fixed down the line. Honestly, they have a lot of fan support. I see people buying these left and right, and with that in mind, as well as the just general attitude that Jazwares has towards the Halo brand, I think that they're going to do great with future releases. But all of that being said, this figure is really awesome. For 20 bucks, I think it's a great deal. And even despite the issues that I've listed, I still think that this is an awesome figure for both collectors, gamers, and kids who might be just now getting the MCC, getting into Halo Reach, and experiencing it for the first time. With all that said, let's take a look at the hands and articulation for this figure. So for hands, we have an open palm and more of a like signaling hand here. He also comes with 2 fist hands, which I really appreciate that they give you 2 so that he can just be like, I don't know, boxing with an elite or something like that. And then an opposite open hand. And of course he has his 2, like, I guess, grip or trigger hands on his body right now. These I think are the best for him holding the shotgun, and this hand here is honestly just a little bit tighter than this hand, so it's better for holding the knife. Now as for articulation, starting at the head here, he has a ball joint and a swivel in the neck, So the swivel goes up and down. You can kind of see it right there. You can get back to there. That's kind of the neutral, and then forward to there. Then with the ball joint, you have a little bit of tilt, not much to speak of, but you can get looking every direction. Then here we are at the shoulders. There is kind of that like butterfly joint again, but I don't think it really gains you that much. He does have the swivel all the way around, and then the hinge that gets you up to a little past 90, which I love to see. Double jointed elbows that gets you a crunch well past 90, which is great as well. Then the hinge and the swivel at the hands. All the hands are the same. They're all in and out swivels. Again, my gripe with that, I would like to see some up and down. There is a little bit of play with those joints, but that's probably just because these are all swappable hands, so there does have to be a little bit of tolerance there where you can actually pop them out without damaging the figure or the pegs on the hands, so I can give that a pass. The hand isn't going to fall out or anything. You can see there's good tension there on the pegs, but it just is a little bit loosey-goosey. Down to the torso, you do have a ball joint tucked up in there, but unfortunately it's a pretty limited range of motion, a little bit of up and down, side to side, but not too much, nothing too crazy. Down to the hips, we have the standard ball joint that we've been getting with all of these Spartan Collection figures, and really even the World of Halo figures. So the hip is on a ball joint, the thigh is on a swivel, so you can kind of kick it up and then kick the armor out a little bit and get it all the way up to there. Swinging it back doesn't really have any motion because it does have this molded bottom there that kind of blocks the movement. You can kind of swing it out and get like a little bit more, but it's nothing really to speak of. So really you just have a good forward and then a neutral straight up and down. Because of the ball joint though, you can have him do a pretty decent split, which is nice, I guess, in case you want to have him competing in the Olympics or do like some sort of sweet kickboxing thing like that where he just kicks an elite right in the face. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Moving on down to the knees, we have the double knee joint, which gets you a really nice crunch all the way back to there. And then down to the foot, you have the rocker, you have the hinge that gets up to there, and then you have that little toe swivel in case you want to get a little bit of extra posability out of him, which is maybe not necessary, but it is nice to see. But now let's talk about the figure overall as far as paint apps go and as far as design goes. Overall, I think this figure is really nice. Again, for that $20 price point, you really can't go wrong. I mean, yeah, is there maybe some detail missing in the paint apps? But then again, you could also just go over it with like a paint wash or something, which would really bring out the sculpt details because the sculpt is there. There are some paint apps missing, which we'll go over in just a minute, but overall, I really think this figure is something incredible. And again, Jazwares, Wicked Ghoul Toys, the two of them doing the World of Halo 4-inch line and this 6.5-inch to 7-inch-ish Spartan collection, they're doing some amazing things with the Halo figures, and I do appreciate that. So I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them. I do love this line. I have my nitpicks with it, my gripes, but overall, I'm very impressed with it. So this might get a little bit nerdy. This might get a little bit nitpicky as to the paint apps, but let's go over what we're missing with this figure. Starting off, we are missing some paint apps here on the shoulder pad. There should be a white pattern. This is the operator shoulder pad, and it has like a little diamond pattern on it. We're also missing some black paint apps from the top of his thigh armor here and here. I am appreciative though that they did include that red stripe, although the contrast could maybe be a little bit stronger. One of the things as well is that it's missing like the blue lights here in his little armor indents, I guess you could say. I think those are like the shield generators in lore. This pouch is basically missing any paint apps, which I guess I get because it is a cost-effective thing, but it is a little disappointing that we didn't at least get like the buckles painted or something like that. And then once again, we're just missing little here and there tidbit paint apps. There should be like yellow and black lines here on his foot armor. There should be little UNSC logos and stuff up here at the top, things like that. Very minor details. Again, I could pass on those, but some of the more major ones like the thigh armor color and the shoulder pad, I would really wish that they had gotten right. I don't know if it came down to a design thing, like a cost related thing, or if it was just an oversight. Either way, you know, maybe in a future wave they will re-release him and be able to go back and correct those things. Honestly, at the $20 price point, I'd be okay with paying $24.99, $25 for this figure with just a few more details added to him and a few little extra tidbits, you know, maybe more of a better design here on this scabbard and things like that. Those little quality of life details would be really appreciated. I don't think that they detract too much from this figure overall, but again, I'm okay with paying a little bit more just to get those added little spice of life details to it. Now, I know that this won't be the best example because this figure has gone through a lot, and unfortunately he's missing a lot of his parts. This is my childhood Emile that I got from the McFarlane toy line, and yeah, he's a little beat up. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed anymore, but there you can see right there on the shoulder, that is what should be there. As well as like the black lines on top of the thigh. My McFarlane figure is missing the hip pouch and the ammo belt here on his waist, and as well as the shotgun shells on his forearm. Like I said, he's been beat up quite a bit, unfortunately. But again, looking at these side by side, you can see they did try to keep as much accurate as they could, while still presumably staying within a budget. And the McFarlane figure is nice, but even it has its issues with articulation, with the brittleness of some of the joints. I've broken my share of McFarlane figures just by trying to pose them very simply, so I do appreciate the durability of these figures. However, I wish that they could find a middle ground with the detail aspect and maybe find some way to cost effectively make them a little bit more accurate to the games. And yeah, that's my takeaway from it. Again, I really do love this line. I see it has a lot of potential down the road to create some amazing figures, and I do love this Emile, but hopefully we can get just a little bit more improvement with each wave as it comes. With all that being said, I would still say that this is a definite pickup for anyone that just loves Halo, or specifically maybe loves the character of Emile, especially with the McFarlane prices kind of steadily going up on the secondary market. This is a great time to be able to get new Halo figures from games that are now like 15 years old, and these are on shelves today, which I really just appreciate. Just for a quick comparison, I have him here standing next to the Mark V-B figure from the same Spartan collection line. You could, I guess, use this as like a Noble 6 figure, so he would fit in pretty well between Emile and Cat, and if they do future figures that are going to be like the rest of Noble Team, which I really hope that they do, you could have a pretty nice lineup that way. But yeah, there we go. This has been the Spartan Collection Emile review. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. Anything that I didn't really address in this review, you can ask it down in the comments and I will try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. As always, there is a link down in the description to Entertainment Earth. If you decide to order anything toy related from Entertainment Earth, I would really appreciate it if you would use that link. It does help me out. There's also a link in that link tree to my Instagram, to a few other things. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. And you can just check those out. If you want to follow me over on Instagram, I do toy photography. I post like new releases and stuff from other toy companies, and like as like a little bit of a news flash to my stories, you know. So if you want to check that out, it's down there as well. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you all in the next video.